born before the wind, also younger than the sun. Yeah, the bonnie boat was one as we sail into the mystic. Oh, I can now hear the sailors cry, smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic. And where that foghorn blows, I will be coming home.
All right, guys, we're going to do something a little bit different today. If you're going on vacation and you're not real familiar with beach hunting and you don't want to look like the rookie on the beach, well, this video is for you. I'm going to show you the basic setup of what I do and how I beach hunt, and let the beach dictate where you hunt. That's a big part of it too. But we're going to run through the basics today. I'm sure there are others out there with more experienced beach hunters that have better techniques, but this is the gist of it, and this is a good place to start. Let's talk about your setup on your machine and coil swing first. Check this dude out. You do not want to be that guy because you are not detecting anything over that deep, and you're missing all kind of, ground coverage. So we're going to look at the way that is not always the most fun, but is the most efficient, especially if you're in a situation like I'm in today, where we're at the latter part of the year. This is October in Myrtle Beach. The beaches have been really hammered by metal detectors, already. The crowds are getting smaller and the finds are getting fewer. Well, do you just want to walk around like a madman, or do we need to set out some kind of grid pattern? Well, we do. But let's talk about machines first. And one of the things that you have to do is you have to get your machine set up for the proper length. You want your sweeps. See this sweep speed? I'm not going to drag this big 15-inch coil and skim the sand with it. Some people like to drag their coils. I do not. This machine is plenty deep with me riding a 1/2 inch to 1 inch above the sand. Now, you can change that, and it's subjective to however you want to do that, but notice that coil is nice and level. Now, I have a little bit of shoulder issue, so I don't do the whole parameter this way. My sweep is nice and level, and if you ever see me hunt, it kind of hangs to my left side. Now, I've adjusted my grid patterns to do that. Now, if you're capable and everything's good in your shoulder and all, and you can swing, all the way across and get the whole sweep, then you will have to adjust your grid pattern to suit that. But that's what we want. We want a nice level swing. We want good consistent sweep speed. We don't want this. This is not what we want. We want level to the best of our ability all the way through. So now, one of the key factors to that is getting your shaft length right. So whichever detector model you're using, you will have to adjust. And I basically set mine on the ground and figure out what's comfortable to me. Then I lock it down, and you can do that, however you have to do that on your detector will be up to which model you're using. But you want to get your shaft length to where you're comfortable extended out, and you're able to keep the coil nice and level. You don't want the shaft length too short, then you'll be bent over, or too long and it'll be too nose heavy. You want to get it just right. It may take a little trial and error, but work with it. See this, guys? See that nice level sweep speed? Okay, that's key one. Key two is reading the beach. As you can see, there's a drop-off on my beach, but I've been down here with 2 days with the Manicore beach detecting, and this is what I figured out. It's sanded in, really. Even though there's a drop-off, it's still sanded in, and there's not many targets down there. I've probably dug 20 targets down there and 100 targets up here. So, I've read the beach, and the way it sets right now, the dry sand seems to be the highest, possibility, or give me the best percentage, because this is where the most targets are. Well, it makes sense. This is where the most people are this time of year, setting up high like this. And we see that we have very few in the water today because it's actually cool. So you've got to read the beach. There's a thing called cuts, and if you see sand cut out, cut down, if you see shells showing, you want to search those places. But today we're going to grid right here, and I'm going to show you a little bit, like I said, of my grid pattern. Now, with that being said, I'm sure there's people with more accurate grid patterns, but I have a scoop here, and whichever scoop you have, or some people even rig something up and drag behind them to their belt, and I think that's a very good idea. But what I do is, I told you guys that my left is where I'm at right here. So I can come and I'm gonna drag my scoop. And it's not perfect. I'm sure there's people out there that have better sweep patterns and better grid patterns than I do, but this does give you some kind of marking of the ground that you've been on, and it gives you some kind of gauge that you can follow, and you're not just skipping over 5-foot sections. Yes, of course, I'm missing something on a step and I could slow down, but I'm just not that disciplined to walk like this. I just can't do it. So I'm gonna take and call this the Calabash Search Grid Pattern. Is it perfect? No, but it's a good place to start. And I don't look like, like Mr. I've never held a metal detector before. But you see how I pulled that line? Now I could turn around. It can follow this line back down and swing on this side of it. You guys see what's going on? My mic's probably cutting out because I've turned my back to it. How you doing today? You go right ahead. I'm in no hurry. Oh yeah, I clean up all kinds of junk all the time. Oh yeah. Okay guys, so you see that pattern right there. Now I've covered both sides of that, and which way I choose to go, I normally will take me a couple of steps and I will get me a line working. You know what I mean? So here I go again. But if I was turned just the right way, this would work out even better, and I'll show you what I mean. If I had come off of it and went left, we could have got it going. See how I'm kind of overlapping here? Yeah, it's a little bit tedious. Now I know that my sweep speed is over there. I can come back over here, step out. But see, I've got those lines to guide me. I was just right here. I'm gonna slide over here, make sure I'm still in frame. But you see those lines are guiding me. And I'm sure that there's more professional beach hunters that have it down even more, better than I do. But it's better than wandering around aimlessly, especially when the targets are really sparse. Come on, target. We need a good target for the camera. It's just a 2, but on the Manicore, we're going to check it because some small gold comes in really low. Guessing small foil, but we're going to look at it. Nice piece of small foil. Yeah, gotta love it. All right, guys, I'm going to continue to grid, and I'll be back when I find a video on how to grid. You see my grid patterns here. So I just come down that side, I switch to this side of the grid, bam-o, target. Looks like it's about right in there somewhere. All right, guys. Oh, nice copper roasted out penny here. Don't be a butthole. Kick your dirt back in the hole. Don't mess it up for everybody. Leave it like Alright guys, I'm going to try to give a demo, and I don't know how good this is going to do, but I'm going to bury this quarter. And you know, locating your targets on the beach, that is another thing too. And with most of my coils, I can go with the center, and I've trained myself where I don't use pinpoint, but however you do it is up to you. But I'm going to show you the way that I do it. We're going to use this quarter as an example. I'm just going to put it, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches in the ground here and cover it back up. And it's just a demo to show how basically I've kind of centered my target up, and I'm going to try to give you a point of view down so you guys can see what I'm doing here. So, I wonder if the Manicore hit a 4-inch quarter. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it looks like it hit it about a foot deep right there, right? Well, anyway, so you see this big coil looking down at the machine right here. We see that the coil, see the hot spot is kind of right in front of the shaft, right there. But what I do with this bigger coil, now with the 11-inch coil, I use the hot spot and I center it up. And I know on the 11-inch coil, and on most of the detectors, whether it's Nokta or XP, it's right at the end of the shaft where the shaft connects to the coil. And what I'm calling the hot spot is where you get the strongest signal when metal detected. So listen. So by the hot spot, of course I know where the quarter's buried, but I just marked it right there. But I'll show you another way. And that is the wiggle the coil back. And of course you guys that use pinpoint, you can do it that way too. I just do it this way. It's faster, more efficient for me. Now watch this. Now I know that the target is setting right in front of the coil. So what do I want to do? You see where the front of the coil is? And that's how you recover a target on the beach. And when it gets deeper, it'll get a little bit tougher and you'll have to get a little bit more precise with it. But that is the way that I know where the target is. I use the hot spot, and on this bigger 15-inch coil, I'll use the tip method sometimes, but most of the time now that I've learned this coil over the last 3 days of using it on the beach, I use the hot spot. And whether I'm using a Nokta product, a Deus product, a Minelab product, I use the hot spot to do that. Where I get the strongest signal, I know that the target is under the center of the coil, and if you have problems with that or not quite there with that yet, you can use the wiggle back method, which is just really quick. You can also do that same principle and wiggle it forward. Watch this. Target's right at the back of the coil. So whichever way you choose to do it is up to you, but there's another little tip about beach hunting and recovering targets. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, we've got to have a conversation. We're down here in the wet sand by the ocean, and here is my first suggestion with that, is buy a multi-frequency metal detector that is designed to operate in these conditions. You can get away with a single frequency up here in the dry sand, but when it comes to this condition right here, it gets a little bit more like you need a multi-frequency metal detector if you want to be successful, enjoyable hunt, and have good depth in this environment. But see how this beach is slanted today? A lot of times if the beach is more level, I will grid it this way with the tide, but the tide is moving out and we're probably an hour before low tide. And what I normally do is I do the drag scoop with my, again, to mark where I'm at, but we've got the water coming in and it washes it away. But I will run kind of this direction in here, and I'll give you guys an example of what I'm going to do here. So stay tuned and let's see if we can dig a target. But this is how I'm going to grid this out, and we'll talk more about it when I get done. Hang on. And for video purposes, I'm not going to go a whole long ways, but I may run this stretch out a good bit if I'm not hunting on video. But I'm going to just kind of keep dragging my scoop, and trying to go by. I can see a little bit of mark over there where I was. And just a guideline. It's not perfect, and I'm sure there's other people with better techniques, but this gives you the advantage of knowing that, you're kind of covering it and gridding it and getting the best coverage, and you can basically refine it, get better with it, and, get it more precise. But let me hunt just a minute. Let me shut up talking.
my soul. Finding the words was always the hardest part for me. A dispatch from the heart you'd have to believe.
All right, guys, you see the gist of that? Gridding is key, and if you look at the grid that I've done, I've dug about 5 targets. So that tells you that the targets on the beach are sparse this time of year, but hey, any one of them could have been a gold ring because I did dig some mid to low conductors. So thanks for watching, and I hope this will help you guys next time you're out on the beach with your metal detector, and give you a good starting place of how to develop your form. Remember about reading the beach. You let the beach dictate where you want to be. There can be cuts in the beach, and if you see a cut, go metal detect it, grid it, and good luck out there, guys. See you next time.